Hey there, everybody. We'll get started in just a second. I brought a banana into the room, and now apparently I owe the rats a share, so I'll be right back after that's finished. Alright, that little property squabble is done with. The rats are currently munching away, and I have got Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, up on the screen. We will be picking up right where we left off the last time, Day 3 trial, Turnabout Sisters. If you missed the first couple of installments, Phoenix came into work late one night to find his boss dead on the floor and a teenage girl sort of crouched over the body turned out to be Mia's sister Maya, who was promptly arrested for murder. Phoenix has been trying to get her off the hook ever since. September 9th, 9:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1. Well, I guess this is it. Yeah. One way or another, this case gets decided today. Ah! Phoenix, look! Huh? Prosecutor Edgeworth? I received a call from the Chief Prosecutor's office yesterday. Hmm? I was told that whatever Mr. White says today, it will be the absolute truth. No matter how you try to attack his testimony. If I raise an objection, I have it on good faith that the judge will listen to me. What, does White have the judge in his pocket too? So, you're saying I'm going to be guilty. End of story? It's quite a glare. I will do anything to get my verdict, Mr. Wright. Anything.
What? Why? How can you torment an innocent person like this?
Innocent? How can we know that? The guilty will always lie to avoid being found out. There's no way to tell who's guilty and who's innocent. All that I can hope to do is get every defendant declared guilty. So I make that my policy. Edgeworth. You've changed.
Huh? Phoenix, Phoenix, you know him?
Don't expect any special treatment, Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix?
Court will be starting soon.
What? But wait! Your defense attorney isn't even here yet! They're not...
I'll be defending myself. Quick note here, there's a saying. The man who represents himself has a fool for an attorney.
Phoenix does that a lot.
Also, you'll note that Maya has flipped to calling him Phoenix. She called him Mr. Wright for quite a while. She does the same thing in Japanese, too. She's not quite this familiar this early on, but she goes from calling him Naruhodo-san, his actual name, to Naruhodo-kun after a little while, which is what her sister used to call him. There's a lot of this that they brought across actually surprisingly well in translation. It doesn't usually come across in English, but the localization team did a really good job.
What?
Okay, let's do this. September 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 1. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright. Fun fact, this is not the first time Phoenix has been up for murder. You'll find out more about the other one later.
Not the last time he's up for murder either.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, are you sure you're up to doing this? Yes, Your Honor. I will be defending myself. Understood. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. As the details of the event are already quite clear to the court, today we will hear the testimony of a witness to the defendant's crime. C. The prosecution may call its witness. Oh, Phoenix became the suspect last time. He went to go visit a witness, Mr. Red White, which is the person that Mia was investigating before she was killed. He got on White's wrong side, and White called up one of the prosecutors he had essentially in his pocket and said, "Yes, I'd like to testify. I saw who did it. It's Phoenix." Basically, he pissed off the wrong person, and they're trying to get revenge now. That went far too smoothly. Why didn't the judge ask Edgeworth why his witness didn't testify before? It's like he already knows why. If anyone's gonna raise an objection about this, I suppose it's me. Well, let's point and shout. That's kind of what Phoenix does. Mr. Edgeworth, you owe an explanation to the court. Why didn't this witness testify in the trial against Ms. Maya Fey? I'm ever so sorry. Mr. White is a busy man, and besides, at the time, I thought that Ms. May's opinion was all that would be needed. Again, my sincerest apologies to the court. Excellent, Mr. Edgeworth. I appreciate your demeanor. Edgeworth is really kind of a smug bastard in court, and even after Edgeworth is less our enemy, he does not become less of a smug bastard in court. Phoenix is just less thrown by it. Great, he gets to show off and I get nowhere. I would like to call Mr. Red White to the stand. Ah, yes, him. Please state your full name. You wish to know the title of my personage? Your name? Yes, that is what I said. Oh dear, do my locutions confuse? Name! These two are great together. My name is Red White, but my friends call me Blanco Nino. I am the CEO, or to use a more common term, the President of Blue Corp. Did you know the victim is Mia Fey? That would be a negatory. No, I did not. You were at the Gatewater Hotel the night of the murder. Correct. And you witnessed the murder from there? Ahem. Why tell you what you already know? Very well, Mr. White, you may begin your testimony. Mr. Red White is decidedly pink and kind of purple, also very smarmy. If I can't rip this guy's testimony apart, I'm done for. Why do I always feel like it's the end of the world and I'm the last man standing? Ho ho ho! I hope that you've made your peace with God, Mr. Lawyer. Huh?
Let him have it, Phoenix.
Yeah, at one point Phoenix gets somebody to sub for him behind the defense bench, and they eventually start wondering if there is a kick me sign on the table where they can't see it. This is kind of a Japanese culture thing. The court system there is so not innocent until proven guilty. Basically, nobody bothers to bring charges unless they're damn sure you did it. So defense attorneys are not held in particularly high regard there. Like, basically it's seen as, well, you're trying to get somebody who's guilty off the hook. Essentially, if you've already gotten to court, you're kind of screwed. Let's see, it was about 9, I believe. I was quietly that's reading to you some papers by the window. Then I heard a bedlam coming from outside. Surprised, I turned to look at the building across the way. It was then I saw him, a spiky-haired man attacking a woman with long hair. Needless to say, that man was none other than you, Mr. Lawyer. I called Miss May over at once. She, too, was flabbergasted, of course. The victim, she ran away, but you gave chase. Finally, there was a terrible impaction. Then it was all over. If things occurred as you testify, then I'm afraid the defendant is guilty. Very well. Defendant, Mr. Wright? Yes, if my audio is clipping, I can fix that. There's a volume slider. Is that a little bit better? Your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Let's see, it was about 9, I believe. How do you know what time it was? Because I am always absolutely perfect, you know? No, you're not getting away with that. You are so mistrusting, Mr. Lawyer. So, what was the proper term for secretary, again? Anyway, Miss May ordered room service for 9. It happened so soon after the room service arrived. That's what Miss May said, too. True, the bellboy brought the coffee saw Miss May. But he testified that he did not see you at the time. Ahem, this is your concern? Silly lawyer, Miss May received the coffee outside the room. Of course he could not see me. He would need X-ray vision to pull off something like that. Tell us, what were you doing at the time? I was quietly perusifying, that's reading to you, some papers by the window. By window, you mean the one directly across from the Fan Company law offices. Correct! That is the only window you see. And there you were reading papers? Correct! The Gatewater is a businessman's hotel, and I am a busy man who had business to do. Then I heard a bedlam coming from outside. A bedlam? It must have been when you attacked, I assume. We see. Continue. Surprised, I turned to look at the building across the way. So you were reading your papers until you heard that sound. But of course, I am no snoop peeping out of windows at night. No snoop? Yeah, right. You made a career out of snooping. It was then I saw him, a spiky-haired man attacking a woman with long hair.
Spiky-haired?
Needless to say, that man was none other than you, Mr. Lawyer. What you just said directly conflicts with Miss May's testimony. Miss May clearly stated that the assailant looked like a girl. I've always been proud of my eyesight, Mr. Lawyer. Just what is your eyesight? Counting both eyes? 40.
40? Don't add them together.
I think the witness is trying to say his eyesight is good.
Hey, whose side is the judge on anyway?
And what did you do then? I called Miss May over at once. She too was surprised, of course. What was Miss May doing at that time? She had just finished watching a soap opera on the TV and was weeping openly. Did you know she'd been tapping the Fay office phone? Irrelevant. That has nothing to do with the case at hand. I care not. I will answer the lawyer's bold inquiry. Miss May was acting alone when she tapped the phone of this Fay woman. You'd make a good politician, Mr. White. Oh, I know. After all, I am El Presidente. Please continue. The victim, she ran away, but you gave chase. Can you be a little more detailed about that? I think it's worth knowing exactly what happened. Of course. Comprende, I understand. The victim was attacked by you and ran to the left. You gave chase and struck her down. Are you sure? As you know, I am always absolutely perfect. Yeah, note here that the prosecution is now asking if this guy is sure about what he's saying. Edgeworth makes like he hates losing above all else, but there is actually one thing that he finds much more annoying than losing his case, and that is being lied to. He has built a perfect case with the information he is given, and if somebody's given him wrong information, that pokes holes in his case, and he gets absolutely furious over it. Perhaps you could change your testimony to reflect this new detail. The victim ran to the left, and you gave chase. That is not what Miss May said. Wait right there. Mr. White, you've dug your own grave. What is this? You said the victim ran to the left, but that directly contradicts Miss May's testimony. She clearly stated that the victim ran right. It is simple. You have misheard her. I think not. Look at the floor plans. The killer was here, and the victim here. If the victim ran to the left, as you claim she did, she would have been running directly away from the door. She would have been running into a dead end. Don't you find that odd? Very strange. I did see her run to the left, I did. Phoenix, look at his face. I don't think he's lying about this one. True. Maybe he really did see the victim run left. So he did witness the killing? Oh, wait a second. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor! Miss May says right and Mr. White says left. Can you explain this contradiction to the court? Yes, I can. Both witnesses are telling the truth, for once. Huh. I doubt it. Rather, that does not clear up the contradiction. There's one scenario that would explain their conflicting accounts. What? Obviously, the witness was not viewing the crime from the hotel. Mr. Wright, what do you mean? Yes, what do you mean he was not viewing the crime from the hotel? If he was not in the hotel, where could he have been? In the law offices of Fang Company, of course. More specifically, he was standing here. Time to show the court where Mr. White was standing. This is where he was. Look! When the victim ran for the door, if he was watching from this point, to him it would appear that she ran to the left. Please, this is no time for jokes and ill taste. That's where the killer was standing. Order! I will have order! Anyone disturbing the order of this courtroom will be held in contempt. Mr. Wright, what are you suggesting? Abscallion! See, Edgar's a little bit hung up on how perfect his case supposedly is. The postulations of the defense are a distortion of the truth, Your Honor. Indeed, they do seem a bit far-fetched. You provide us with so much entertainment, Mr. Lawyer. What now? He's laughing? The hilarity of the moment made me remember something. It appears I have been unclear, and for this I apologize. Mr. Your Honor, might I be allowed to testify once more? Very well, let's hear your revised testimony. Good luck. You can't fix a broken testimony, buddy. Miss May's testimony was correct, as was mine. When you assaulted the girl, she first ran to the left, and then you hit her savagely. That is what I saw. Next, with the last of her strength, she ran to the right. You chased her and delivered the final blow. That is what Miss May saw. You see, you hit her twice. Don't you remember, Mr. Lawyer? That does seem to make sense. Will you be cross-examining the witness's testimony? You bet I will. Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, we've been through this before, with Miss May, in fact, and it didn't work then either. Mr. White, the victim died from a single blow. Eh? What do you have to say to that? Well, now's my chance to hit him where it counts. Mr. White, wasn't it you who told this court you are abso-positively perfect? I will refrain from using this phrase from now on. Your Honor, if you could ask the witness for a new testimony. The witness is obviously confused, Your Honor. I would like to request a 10-minute break. Yes, quite. The witness is confused because he's lying. I emphatically request that there be no break, Your Honor. Yeah, we want justice. Don't let him get away. Very well. If the witness would care to revise his testimony. The crowd's on my side. No slipping out of this now, White. Mr. White? Okay. Well, see, I looked at the other window when I heard that thing fall. Then, the next moment, I saw Miss Mia run to the left. The killer, you, attacked her, but she dodged. And then she turned and ran for the door. Then you hit her in with a single blow. Thwap!
swap indeed.
Very well, you may begin the cross-examination.
Mr. Your Honor, my stomach, you see, it's hurting.
Deal with it. This is almost over.
Well, see, I looked at the other window when I heard that thing fall.
You heard that thing fall? What exactly was that thing? Money changing hands. Phoenix rarely gets paid for any of this, you see. You get the impression that most of his clients can't afford a really famous attorney, so they kind of wind up at his place. I believe it's mentioned later that Larry paid him absolutely fuck all. Yeah, best childhood friend, got him off the hook for murder, and Larry gave his boss a statue clock and the law firm basically nothing. The glass light stand. Right, the one that had fallen over at the scene.
Phoenix, doesn't something about that strike you as odd?
Yeah, very odd. Yeah, that is odd. I'll press further. Mr. White.
Huh? What?
You're saying you saw the glass light stand?
Yes.
Then change your testimony to reflect that.
Sorry, my bad.
The witness will revise his testimony.
Okay, of course.
A light stand was lying on the floor when I looked. It might have been lying on the floor. You couldn't have seen it because it was way in the corner. Mr. White. It was impossible for you to have seen the glass stand.
What?
Look at this. These are the floor plans to the scene of the murder, yes?
Correct, Your Honor.
Now, look. If you were to look through the window at the office, this is the area you'd be able to see. Here. Well, note the stand is not within the visible area. Well, Mr. White? What do you have to say to that?
Oh. Ridiculosity.
Mr. White, if you were in the Gatewater Hotel as you claim, you could not have seen the stand before it fell over. In fact, you wouldn't have been able to see it after it fell either. There's no way you could have recognized the broken shards as a glass light stand. So when did you see the stand, Mr. White? It must have been the moment that it fell. And the only place you could have seen that from is inside the Fey Law offices. Yeah, the judge has the memory of a goldfish, honestly. In other words, you were at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. Mr. White? Mr. White. You did it, didn't you?
Mr. Your Honor. Ms. Mia.
Looks like we're about to get our verdict. That's far enough, Phoenix Wright.
What? Forgot about Edgeworth.
Mr. White. I think the time has come. Shouldn't you confess your crime now?
What?
I said you should confess your crime. Ergo, confess that you placed the wiretap. The wiretap?
Order!
Mr. Edgeworth, explain to the court what you mean by this. Distinguished members of the court, Mr. White is slightly confused. Allow me to explain. I really don't like the way this is headed. As you know, Mr. White is the CEO of Blue Corp. He ordered his secretary, Miss April May, to tap the law offices of Miss Fay. What does that have to do? Your Honor. The question is, when was the wiretap placed in the office, and by whom? No, you wouldn't. Mr. White. In order to place the wiretap, you entered Miss Fay's office. Am I correct? Huh? Ah? Correct! You are most correct, Miles. Give me a break! Yes, in order to place the wiretap, I breached the Fay & Company law offices. That is when I saw the accursed light stand. Now I'm confused. Please explain to the court what all this means, Mr. Edgeworth. Gladly, Your Honor. Mr. Phoenix Wright has made his position quite clear. He has determined that Mr. White knew the glass stand was in the office. He has shown that there was only one time Mr. White would have seen the stand, at the very moment of the murder. Thus, Mr. Wright would like you to believe that Mr. White was the murderer. I see. However, it is a fact that Mr. White had been to that office well before the murder took place, when he went to place the wiretap. He could have seen the glass light stand then. Ergo, Mr. Phoenix Wright's theory is revealed for the baseless conjecture that it is. Mr. White, you will testify to the court about this wiretapping. Ahem. Leave it to me. I feel faint. The wiretapping. It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. I had entered the Fay & Company law offices. Of course, I had done so to place the wiretap. That is when I saw this glass light stand. So you saw the stand before the night of the incident, and this is how you were able to identify what had fallen over. By the sound? Correct! That is right. I see. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. What am I supposed to do now? Good luck, Phoenix. Do you have proof? Miss April May knew the details of Ms. Fay's phone conversation. This proves that the wiretap was placed before the murder. Huh. Right. Was it really you that went into the office? Or was it Miss May? Unidentified fingerprints several days old were found in the Fay & Company law offices. Those were obviously Mr. White's. And if I know Edgeworth, he's already run a check on those prints. Yeah, funny that, Phoenix. Do you know Edgeworth? You seem to. Now, Mr. White, tell us why you went to the Fay & Company law offices. Why did you tap Mia's phone? This has no bearing on the current case, Your Honor. Blue Corp is a detective agency of sorts. We have a responsibility to protect client confidentiality. Why did you notice something as innocuous as a light stand? The light stand was made entirely out of glass. It was quite stylish, so I guess it made a lasting impression on me. Such a beauticious thing deserves attention, does it not? That is all. There's nothing here for me to press him on. Well, maybe he's rattled enough that I can bluff something out of him. Yeah, beginning September. There's the wiretap. Oh, don't tell me I've run out of ammo. I'm afraid that's as far as you go, Mr. Wright. The time has come for you to admit your defeat. You fought honorably. No more. I can't take this anymore. Mr. Wright, are you giving up? Yes, Your Honor. Huh?
Phoenix, over here!
I know that voice. Mia? Never give up, Phoenix. Mia! Where am I? Waiting lobby. What happened? Yeah, ghosts exist in this story. He took it surprisingly well when Maya mentioned that. It's just seeing that was a little bit more than he expected. Alright. I lost the trial. I was hallucinating. Ah, you're finally awake. Ah! Hey, Phoenix! Yeah? That's no way to greet an old friend. Phoenix, I want you to look at me. You're... Maya? Didn't you know the Fey women have strong psychic powers? When you accepted your defeat in court, it appears that was enough of a shock to awaken Maya's true powers. So, Maya is channeling you, Mia? That's right. I am Maya, but I'm also Mia. Now I want you to listen to me, Phoenix. Maya never gave up. You can't either. That's what I came here to tell you. But we don't have much time, Phoenix. You've already won. Huh? You have that receipt in the court record, right? Yeah, the one you wrote Maya on? Phoenix, I wrote that, not me. So what do I do with it? Look at the front of the receipt. The front? It's a regular receipt. Looks like it's from a famous department store. $1,000. Wow, big spender. Item, glass light stand. Date of purchase, September 4th? September 4th! That's right, Phoenix. I bought that stand the day before I was killed. Whoa! Now what did Mr. White say in his testimony? It was the beginning of September, the week before the murder. He said he saw the stand the week before the murder. There you go. I think the court is about to reconvene. Go do it, Phoenix. You know you're innocent. Now you just have to prove it. Right. September 9th, 1:16 p.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 1. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright. Is the defendant, rather, are you alright, Mr. Wright? Yeah, sorry, Your Honor. I'm fine now. Then let's start where we left off. Your Honor, there's nothing to go back to. The judge actually did not render a verdict, so yes, they will keep going. It's a thing in these that, aside from the 3-day max for trials, that until the judge has actually rendered the verdict, like officially, the trial is not over. You can still interrupt, which many people do. The cross-examination of Mr. White is finished. All that is required now is for you to pass judgment on the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Your Honor, please give me one more chance. I promise you this is the last time I'll ask you. But as Mr. Edgeworth has noted, the trial is more or less finished. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an opinion on this matter? I say, let us give Mr. Phoenix Wright his last chance. Well, you may begin your cross-examination. Yeah, that is not when you saw the light stand. Edgeworth will regret that, and then not regret that, and then regret that again several times over the course of these stories. Look closely at this. See the word Maya written in blood? You're grasping. I think not. Look at the other side of the receipt. The other side? Your Honor, would you tell the court what is written on the other side of that receipt? Well, a glass light stand. And the date of purchase? Why, that's the day before the murder. You see? Mr. White, when you allegedly entered the Fan Company law offices at the beginning of September, the stand could not have been there. Well, Mr. White? Can't get out of this one, can you? No. It's impossible. Oh, he's losing it. Well, Your Honor, I understand there must be quite a bit of pressure on you. But I think you'll agree you can't judge me guilty under these circumstances. Very well. Then that's all for the trial of... Not so fast, Phoenix Wright. Eh?
What? No way can he worm his way out of this one.
Oh wait, I forgot. It's Edgeworth. There is a certain thread of logic to the defendant's claims. However, there is no concrete proof that Phoenix Wright is innocent. Ergo, I would like to request one more day before Phoenix Wright is granted his freedom. I need time to make one more inquiry into this matter. Another inquiry? This isn't going to be another one of those updated autopsy reports. This guy just makes up evidence as he pleases. This is bad. Alright. Do we object or do we wait and see? Objection it is.
Mr. White's guilt is obvious.
There's no need to prolong this trial any further. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? If anyone is going to call Mr. White to trial, it would be me, the prosecution. I need a day to ascertain whether these new claims have any basis in factual evidence. I see. Objection denied. What? The completion of the trial of Mr. Phoenix Wright will be postponed until tomorrow. No. There's no telling what will happen if I can't end this now. Edgeworth is sure to come up with or just make up something. After Mia showed up to help me and all. Mr. Your Honor, may I go home? Of course. Thank you for your time. The witness will stay. Mia? Phoenix. Read this note out loud. Mia? What's this? Memo received from Mia. A list of people's names in Mia's handwriting. Your Honor, if I may. You're quite persistent today, Mr. Wright. You bet I am. My life is riding on this one. I have something I'd like to read to the court. The memo Mia had given me was a list of names. Many of them sounded strangely familiar. People in finance, famous celebrities. That's when it happened. Stop! Desist! Halt! Please stop! Make him stop! How did you get that list? Mr. White, admit your guilt right here, right now. Or else this list will be released to the press. I, I confess. I confess. I did it. I hit her. I hit Miss Mia with the thinker. Case closed, Your Honor. Well, I see no reason to continue this trial. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? You've done it again. That was quite a spirited defense. Yes, Your Honor. I guess you could say that. Only you knew how spirited it was. Well. This court finds the defense, rather, the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yes, Mia had been investigating Red White. Phoenix found a bunch of files in their office. He found some of the newspaper clippings about the people who had been blackmailed, but White had obviously taken the file with all of the W's in it, with his name in it. It's also, investigating the office and Mia's files on Red White is also the only time you ever hear her using her spirit channeling ability. Apparently she had called up some of the ghosts to ask them, and you don't really get any direct evidence of how that went. In the series, as you're playing, the only spirits you ever see channeled are actually people who are already involved with the Fae clan and would presumably kind of know what's happening when they're yanked out of the hereafter. But it doesn't mention how normal people react to this. It just gives the summarized results of her investigation. Mia obviously knew what was happening when Maya was channeling her because she's also learned the same psychic spiritual arts. September 9th, 2:24 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 1. Well, I never thought I'd be saying this again, but congratulations. You're lucky I was born a Fae. I'm lucky I had both you and Maya on my side. I'm glad you made it. Thank you, Phoenix. You risked a lot to help me, and Maya. I won't forget it as long as I live. As long as you live? My time here's running out. Huh? Maya's powers are still weak, and I can't stay here that long. What? No! There's still so much to say! Don't worry. I'm sure we'll meet again. Chief? I'm not the chief anymore. Phoenix? Can you come to the office tonight? Say, 9? The office? I'll see you later. Chief. Mia! September 9th, 9:02 p.m., Faye & Company Law Offices. Being here, it's hard not to think about that night. You came! Mia? I was kind of worried you might not. Huh? Of course I came. Then. I'm pretty hungry. How about a burger? Mia?
You should see her face!
Mia!
What are you talking about? It's me, Maya!
Maya? What, did I look like my sister? Look like you were her.
I might be able to use that. Oh, Phoenix! Go to the store and buy me lunch, would you?
Maya? Why are you here?
Because of this! See? Mia wrote me a letter. Take care of Phoenix for me.
Take care of... Huh?
She means the office. This office.
Someone has to help with the new Wright and Company law offices, right?
And who better but me, Maya Fey, reporting for duty.
Wait, no, on second thought, let's make this casual.
Yo, Nick! Maya here, ready to get down to business.
You don't mind me calling you Nick, do you?
It's a great name. Mia said that's what your friend Laurie calls you.
Nick?
You know what this means? We're partners.
You know, when I think about it, it is Maya's fault I'm here now. But if it wasn't for her, I'd probably be in jail. Wright and Company law offices. It's got a good ring to it. Yeah. Thanks, Maya.
Good luck, Phoenix. I'll always be here, watching. Right, okay, Nick, let's do it.
Huh? Do what?
Burgers, dummy! Burgers! There's a great burger joint just down the street. Fun. Time's a-wastin'.
Okay, wait up! The end! Behold the beginning, the meeting of Phoenix and Maya. Yeah, I have a couple of personal theories about why Mia picked Phoenix up for the law firm in the first place. They actually met before he was an attorney. You see it in a flashback later. My theory is that Phoenix has a little bit of aptitude for all of this spiritual stuff. That most people in the game don't particularly seem to believe in ghosts, and it's mostly because they can't see them or hear them, but Phoenix gets flashes of Mia in times of desperation several times over the course of the series. And later on, one of the other people in the Fae family gives him a magatama, that little comma-shaped rock on a necklace that Mia and Maya both wear. Those are real things. They're considered amulets of protection and various other things. But when he gets a magatama, it's charged with spiritual power, and you can use it basically to see what he calls psych locks, see lies, and basically it tells you that a witness is lying during the investigation segments, so that you know you have to go find evidence to disprove whatever they're telling you. And yeah, Phoenix seems to have at least some talent for using this kind of stuff, which most people do not. So my theory is that Mia decided that he was probably a good bet because he had some ability, a little bit more than intuition. Yeah, the psych locks are an interesting mechanism. I mean, they give you the opportunity to basically do the cross-examination thing during the investigation segments. The spin-off games, Ace Attorney Investigations, that actually star Edgeworth investigating cases have something similar, except his is purely logic, and it's got a chess motif to it instead of the spiritual power motif. Basically, it means that in future games, the investigations are not just poking around and talking to people, it's gathering evidence and cracking contradictions just like the courtroom segments, only in a slightly different, less strictly factual context. Like a lot of times what you're gathering is not necessarily evidence of what the truth is, but evidence that they're telling you something that's not true. It's a very interesting mechanism. It adds a little bit of complication that makes this a little bit more than a point-and-click mystery, I think. It's just another sort of layer of mechanism. Anywho, onwards and upwards to case 3 out of originally 4 in this game, but there's actually a 5th case at the end of Ace Attorney that was added later for the DS re-release. The first 4 cases are fairly tightly plotted and all end up sort of related at the end. More or less. This third case is the one that has the least to do with the overarching plot. It's a very, very fun case, though. It's, well, it's a lot of character development more than it's plot development, but it's great, and a lot of the characters in it recur in later games, so it's good to get to know them. I don't know if it's necessarily lower stakes. I mean, this is where you discover that Gumshoe is really good at being heroic muscle, and it's generally at Phoenix's expense. Poor Phoenix. Poor Phoenix is the punching bag in this episode, but, you know, he's the hero, he wins in the end, so. Ah, you have disgraced me for the last time, Steel Samurai! The pale moon in the sky cries for your blood! The moon? No, it is you who should gaze upon the moon, for it will be the last moon you ever see! See you in hell, evil magistrate! The warrior swords gleam and strike in the moonlight. One has fallen, but who? Only the moon knows. Don't miss next week's exciting episode! The Dark Messenger returns! Yeah, this entire justice system is not what you'd call great. It's actually explicitly brought up in some of the later games. They're heading into what they eventually come to call the Dark Age of the Law, which surprisingly has nothing to do with the judge and his memory of a goldfish. It has to do with general corruption in the justice system, but that's a couple games in the future. October 14th, 5:31 p.m., Wright & Company Law Offices, so a little bit over a month after the last case. That rocked! See you in hell, evil magistrate! Whoa, stop waving that broom around! Oh, Nick, I didn't know you were here! Of course I'm here. What was that surreal show you were watching? What? Nick, you mean you don't know the Steel Samurai? He's only the most popular TV hero for young people. Young? Like how young? 10 years old? What the heck are you doing getting all excited? I know, this looks like a fantastic show. The original name of the Steel Samurai is Tono-sama, and it actually comes from Tono-sama. It's a very old, like, samurai-era term for a lord, a daimyo, and with an "n" on the end to make it man, as in, like, Superman, superhero name. So, Tono-sama, the Steel Samurai. Hey, I'm only 17! That's 17, see? I'm a teen! Not like you, Nick. Hey, don't talk to me like I'm your grandpa or something. I'm only 24 myself. Then watch it with me, he's really cool, and it's really popular. When they asked grade school kids what they wanted to be, Steel Samurai was #1. I really worry about kids these days. Cramps. Well, the Steel Samurai's over, I guess it's time to close up the office. I guess. Wish we had some clients. A month has passed since my trial. Your students probably think you're 11 billion years old. They're teenagers. They have no concept of time. Mia's murder was the talk of the town for some time, but no one paid any attention to the Wright & Company law offices. How am I going to pay the rent this month? It'll be okay. I'm sure some big client is just around the corner. October 16th, 8:14 a.m., Phoenix Wright's bedroom. Hello? This is Phoenix. Nick! Maya, what? It's so early. It's the Steel Samurai! The Steel Samurai got arrested! You mean the guy on that show?
They're saying that the Steel Samurai killed a villain!
Isn't that what he's supposed to do?
Yeah, on TV!
Yeah, on TV.
No, I mean he actually did it in real life! He skewered a villain with his samurai spear!
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Just come to the office quick, please, Nick.
You'd think that convicting a major CEO would get them some good press, but in fact, Phoenix mostly doesn't get credit for a lot of the stuff he does. It is commented that his cases make the paper a couple of times. In fact, I think this one does, but convicting a CEO was not the thing that makes him famous. Surprisingly, trouncing Edgeworth in court is also not the thing that makes him famous. Edgeworth, up to that point, had a perfect win record, and Phoenix just wrecked it. Hence the goggly-eyed, teeth-grindy, fist pressing into the desk pose at the end of that case. Phoenix just wrecked his win record, defending himself. So, yeah. October 16th, 9:22 a.m., Wright and Company Law Offices. Maya's here, watching television. Now for the morning news. The actor Will Powers was arrested yesterday. Powers plays the lead role in the popular kids show The Steel Samurai, Warrior of Neo-Old Tokyo. He was arrested on suspicion of murder. The victim was Jack Hammer, who plays the villain known as the Evil Magistrate. His body was found still inside the Evil Magistrate costume. The samurai spear was also found stuck through the body. Police believe that this was the murder weapon and are investigating further. This has to be a joke. No, 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 it's a nightmare. The Steel Samurai is over. The world is over. Yes, Wright and Company Law Offices.
What? Nick! It's the Steel Samurai!
What?
Yes. Yes, of course. We'll be right there. Let's go, Nick!
Go where?
They have the Steel Samurai down in detention.
So what?
So, I've decided this will be our first case.
What should we do?
What should we do? How can you just sit there like that? We have to get down to the detention center and meet the Steel Samurai.
Do you want to investigate this case or just do some sightseeing? My money's on sightseeing. Alright. What's wrong, Maya? It's him. In the flesh. Is that guy really him? What do you mean, that guy? Of course it's him. Will Powers, our client. That's him. Yeah, I shouldn't be saying this.
But he definitely did it.
Murder. At least once, maybe twice. Oh! What are you saying? Yes? Something wrong?
No, no, no.
This is getting off to a great start. I know, you're disappointed, aren't you?
Disappointed? Oh, no, 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 no.
No, it's okay, this is the real me. When I got the part of the Steel Samurai with that mask, I decided I would never show my face in public until the job was over. It's the kids, you know? I didn't want to wreck their dreams. Oh. I guess it didn't matter. So much for dreams. I wonder what they think of the Steel Samurai now.
Nick.
What?
He's a good guy. I mean, he's good.
Yeah?
He didn't do it.
Maybe you could start by telling us what happened. Yes, of course. It seemed like it was only yesterday. Actually, it was only yesterday. The cast had come down to Global Studios for a run-through. We went through a few action sequences at 10 that morning. There was a rehearsal scheduled for 5 in the afternoon. But when 5 came around and the staff gathered at the studio, the evil magistrate was found lying in a crumpled heap near the set. They took off his mask and discovered that it was Jack Hammer, dead. He'd been expertly skewered with the samurai spear. The samurai spear? Yeah, it's a long spear that the steel samurai uses as a weapon. Maybe you could explain to me just what the steel samurai is.
Nick, how could you say such a thing? I'm sorry, sir. I apologize for my partner. He's new to this, and a bit out of touch with the world.
Hey, who's new to this? No, it's alright, really. The Steel Samurai is the lead character in a popular kids show. He walks the streets of Neo-Old Tokyo, fighting battle after battle against the evil magistrate and his minions. Of course, he never really defeats the evil magistrate, although I guess he did defeat him this time. I see. Neo-Old Tokyo? What's up with these names? Well, no. Neo-Old Tokyo originally in Japanese was Neo-Edo. Tokyo was not always called Tokyo. Back in the samurai times, it was actually called Edo. Tokyo is... they renamed the city. Tokyo literally means East Capital. The capital used to be Kyoto, which just means capital city. But then they moved it to Edo, now Tokyo, during what is called the Edo period. It was a lot of political upheaval, etc., etc., etc. So, Neo-Edo in Japanese has a lot more of a concrete meaning than Neo-Old Tokyo. I'm pretty sure they did that in English just because it is exactly as silly as that show would actually be were it made. Nothing about the Steel Samurai really has to make any sense. Now, where were you on the day of the murder? Well, that morning I came to the studios at 9. We worked through some action scenes until noon. Rehearsal was to begin at 5, but I was a little tired. So after lunch, I took a nap in my dressing room. When I woke up, it was after 5. I was late for the rehearsal. In English letters they are, in Japanese they're not. Tokyo both have long vowels, so it's technically 4 mora. It's 2 syllables, but 4 mora. To, o, kyo, o. Kyoto only has 1 long vowel, though. So, kyo, o, to. That's only 3. I hurried to the studio and found everyone looking shocked. They arrested me on the spot and brought me here. So he was sleeping the entire afternoon of the murder. Some action hero. What will the kids think? I think I should probably check out the scene of the murder. Right. Global Studios. I'll draw you a map.
Wow, Nick, let's go!
I'm willing to bet $10 she asks for autographs. Alright, off to Global Studios we go.
Wow, so this is where they make the Steel Samurai show. Awesome, aren't you excited? Hey, you there! You want in, you gotta go through me!
Oh, sorry. What? We're lawyers.
Oh yeah? Well, that's great. I'm security. And it's my job to make sure that gawkers like you stay out. Gawkers? Gawkers! Sightseers, tourists. I know the type. You heard about the incident and came to snoop around. youth today. Something horrible happens and you can think of sightseeing wasting your time at a place like this. Of course, jobs you should be doing. Your lawyers not work like the rest of us. Maybe I should be a lawyer too. Sounds like life's easy with me. No work, just living all day. When I was young, things were my different.
This is her shtick. No, her first name is Wendy. Nick? Will I grow up to be like her? Please say no. I don't know. It's possible.
Hey! Listen when you're being spoken to. Youths today.
So what do you do here at the studios? At Global Studios, we make children's dreams come true.
In fact, in my younger days... No, you were a star? Only a little twinkle between the stars here, I'm afraid, dearie. Ow. This place has really gone downhill, you know. But 10 years ago, now that was a studio of dreams. Hammer was a big star back then, too, he was.
Hammer?
The victim, dummy. The evil magistrate. He's been reduced to playing villains now, not exactly the best material to work with.
Can you tell me about Mr. Will Powers?
He's not a bad kid, but don't be fooled by his mask. You wouldn't want him on the silver screen without it, believe me. Little old ladies watching would lose their lunch. That's probably why he thought that the Steel of Samurai was his big chance. No one thought he was capable of doing what he did to poor Jack Hammer. We don't know for certain that Will Powers is guilty. Powers? Of course he's guilty. How do I know? I know everything. That's my job.
What kind of person was Jack Hammer?
What kind of person? Oh, if only you knew. Jack Hammer will live on in many hearts as the ultimate action hero. He was simply dashing in the Dynamite Samurai series.
Should I have heard of that?
But there was an accident during filming 5 years ago. He got an unlucky break after that, reduced to playing the villain on a children's program. What's more, I heard they were paying him peanuts. It's enough to make you cry.
Why are you so certain Mr. Powers is the killer?
I was standing right here yesterday, I was. I was here from 1 in the afternoon to 5 when they found the body. Now the studio where the murder took place is to the left here. So if you want to go to the studio, you have to pass by me. Only one person went by here between 1 and 2:30 when the murder took place.
And that person was Mr. Powers?
Yes, I saw him.
But Mr. Powers says he was sleeping in the dressing room.
Oh, I'm sure he would say that. He's no fool. But he was the only one that walked by. He's the killer, you can bet your biscuits on it. Isn't it about time for you to be heading home? There's nothing to see here. Move along.
Actually, we're here at Mr. Powers' request.
I thought you were suspicious looking. Show me a letter of request. And maybe I'll just let you in.
This lady here thinks she owns this place, obviously. Yeah, the attorney's badge won't help here. Hello, how was the studio? They all think I did it, don't they?
No, not at all! Isn't that right, Nick?
Right, not at all. At worst, you're a suspect. Mr. Powers, you aren't hiding anything from me, are you? What? What? No! I'd never do that! Earlier, you said that you were sleeping in your dressing room after lunch. Yes, like a baby. But the security lady says that she saw you that day. She says she saw you heading towards the scene of the crime. What? What? That's not possible! I really don't know what to say. I was sleeping, I promise. Mr. Powers, if you want me to help you, you have to tell me the truth. I'm new to this lawyer business and I need every advantage I can get. I know, I'm sorry. I swear to you on my mama's grave I was sleeping. Maybe the security lady only thought she saw me. What did she see? He doesn't seem to be lying. About the security guard at the main gate to the studio. Oh, the security lady.
She's terrible. She called me suspicious looking.
Yeah, actually she said the same thing to me before. Take off that mask were her words, I believe. She sucks up to all the bigwigs at the studio. But let her see you stumble once and she'll never let up on you.
She's got some nerve.
Do you think you could write up a letter formally requesting my representation?
Of course.
I just hope this will get me past that security lady. Okay, let's try this again. Ma'am, have a look at this. It's a letter of request from Mr. Powers.
Hmm? Yes, I recognize the bold, childish scrawl.
Powers' request given to the security lady.
To think he would entrust his fate to youths of such unreliable appearance. Really?
Really?
Anyway, you may pass. But only left from here toward the studios. No going to the right, that's the employee area. No one allowed inside, pal, were my instructions. The good detective told me himself. Hey, Nick!
Huh?
There were maps in the security guard station.
Hey, not bad.
Those are 50 cents apiece, thank you. Well, time to go, Nick. 50 cents!
Obviously someone else of a similar build wore the steel samurai costume to go murder Hammer? Kind of. I mean, it's obviously possible that she saw somebody who just looked like Will